What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? We're still going to have class this evening on the image that I promised you all last weekend we would work on, this sort of bling concept. Please forgive my tardiness in posting this demo as there's been some unlikely turn of events, but we're still here and we're still going to host class this evening as this one was very much anticipated. So I did some perks up to this particular template and we're going to learn some things for this session. So it's not just about using templates, it's about the principles of the certain things that we're doing within these templates. And I want to kind of walk you through some of that stuff for the demo so you know what we're going to get into for class this evening. Oh, I'm finally seeing these messages pop through. Hey, loves. Oh, you're very welcome. Don't sleep on me. I'm glad that you've learned a lot. That's amazing. That means a lot to me, and I love to hear that. But more importantly, I love to see it. I love to see what you all are applying, how it is affecting your businesses in a positive way, especially among all this chaos going on right now. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so and I'm taking it you all can hear me, right? All right. So this is a technique that I get asked about a lot, even a template that people get a little confused by how to use. So what we're going to do is if we're going to go through this in class every step of the way. Everybody's going to have a final product. But the thing that you get to do in class is that you get to have live feedback. You get to have someone who will walk you step by step and help pull you out of situations where you don't know how you got there, you get frustrated, you feel like you can't get any further because you don't know where the step is that you messed up. That's what the live classes are for. And we record the live classes so that the students that maybe did not get to partake in that course live are at the very least able to see what maybe some of the other beginners and intermediate users are experiencing issues, and that helps them quite a lot more than just my tutorial for the video, which I mean my tutorial for the template, which I always put out a free tutorial for every single template that I do. It's just that the class allows you to see some of your cohort's common mistakes and gives you a lot of those aha moments. Okay, so this one we're going to play with a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to use it maybe a little bit out of the context that you might assume. So of course we're looking at this and we think of football and Miami and the turnover chain and what a trend that has created. The kids absolutely love this type of look. It's bold, it's very just eye-catching, and the kids just like, and adults like it too, believe it or not. The adults are really taking on to this type of design as well. All right, so I'm going to show you first and foremost. I'm just going to change out a logo. Okay, and for this for your homework, before we actually get into the class, I want you to think of what image or what logo you want to use. And we'll also do a name. So we'll also do some text in here too. So I'm going to do the process of just looking for a logo. Now, of course, this would be for personal use, but I always have to do something to kind of hype things up because I know what you all like to see. So I'm going to look for a team logo. Right here, I have the Seahawks. And what I'm looking for, preferably a SVG or a PNG, something that's just really clean, really crisp, because it does affect the overall quality of your product. And right now, I'm going to look for a large size image because it's not really going to give me an SVG. I've already looked. I think it's going to give me maybe a PNG. So I'm going to go for this one, open it in a new tab, see what it's looking like. It does look like a PNG because I can see the checkerboard in the back, but you have to open the image in a new tab. When you do that, if you still see the checkerboard, when you open that particular image in a new tab, it's not a PNG. It's a PNG, all right, but it has the checkerboard embedded in the background, and they do that a lot these days just to trick folks. And I want y'all to know that that's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to work with. So I'm just downloading this PNG now. I can literally drag it straight from my browser into my Photoshop and drop it like it's hot and reduce that file size, or the image size, just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is copy this layer style from one, paste it on the other. Boom. It's really that simple. Now, the thing that we're going to focus on most in this particular module is basically how we go about using some of our blend modes. Blend modes are really important here. We're going to use the magic wand tool because there's some things here that didn't quite turn out how we wanted them to. If I take off the effect here and turn it back on, I can see that some of my color got a little darker than I want it to be. Well, for that, we have to do something about it. And that's what we're particularly going to be working on, because those are the troubles that you all run into when you're doing these types of templates. Is it's not a one size fits all. You have to learn how to modify things like your blend modes. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the effects. I see right now that my blue is coming out darker here and here. So I'm going to go ahead and modify, just in particular, this pattern overlay. And let's just bring down the opacity to see if this is what's causing our issue here. And I also have this satin and gradient here. There we go. So now I'm getting a little bit of my color back, but I feel like this color is just way too dark. So I can't just do a one size fits all approach with this. What I have to do is figure out what colors are really not popping like I want. I'm going to get my magic wand tool, and I am going to make sure contiguous is turned off. If you have a pretty clean logo, I'm going to show you the difference. If I have contiguous turned on, it's only going to select the things that of that color that are touching, just like the contiguous states of the United States, right? The states that are touching. All right, so if I turn that off and I do deselect, I'm going to try this again. Now there aren't any parts that aren't touching that is of the same color, so I'm going to try it on the white part just to show you. So let's turn on the contiguous. See how it just selected inside of this bill? That's contiguous. If I do deselect and I select that, my apologies, I deselect contiguous. When I select that same bill, now it's selected all the white throughout the design. So if you have a simplified PNG or a SVG logo, especially when it's simplified in numbers of colors, this method works particularly well. So we are going to play with the magic wand tool. We are going to play with our blend modes and whatever works best for your particular image that you bring in, and we're going to troubleshoot together because we're all going to have different images. So everyone will have a different issue that they need to fix as far as making this bling really pop for their particular design. Okay, so let me go ahead and deselect here. Y'all give me just a moment. All right, so I'm back. So what I was going to do is just take this dark color, because it's supposed to be more of a navy color. It looks really dark right now, and you can't see the stones in it. So I'm going to make sure contiguous is turned off. Grab that dark blue color. And then this is going to be an entirely Same thing. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. The exact same thing, but what I'm going to do is create a clipping mask just for that inside part. Now we can get fancy with this and leave the gold on, but for me, I'm going to turn it off. Y'all can play with that in class, and we'll talk about how you play with that in class. I'm just showing you the general principles of what we're going over. So for this one, I'm going to go to that pattern overlay. And here's the thing with blend modes. Right now it's on linear burn, and linear burn may work well for some of these lighter colors because it really gives you that impression of the stones in there with the pattern, but we may have to choose a different blend mode for a darker color. And that's where we'll go through our blend modes and figure out which one works best for us. We may even have to change the opacity. So overlay looks like it works well for me. It's giving me that darker color, but I'm not seeing the pop that I really want to see. Soft light is giving me a different blue that I want, but I still see some of the color that I want. Now this is going to vary depending on what color you have underneath the stones. And this is the problem that most folks have with using this type of style of design, is that they don't know that you can go in, you can change blend modes. You have to be a little bit, you know, of an explorer when it comes to this part, because there is no exact science to this. And let me see, I'm going to go back to I think I like soft light because it brings a little bit more of the stones out. And then I'm going to bring down the opacity here so that I still see some stones and it doesn't look black anymore. Now my problem is taking care of for that darker blue, but then my lighter blue just doesn't seem to do what I want it to do. So I'm going to go down to same thing, a pattern overlay. This is, like I said, it seems really, really simple. And I try to make these templates simple, but there are some issues that when we have them, they really do throw people off, and then they feel like they can't use something. And I want to make sure that we're able to walk through this together. So for linear burn, it's making this blue a little darker than I want it. So I may have to do a different blend mode. Let's try overlay. There we go. But then overlay loses my white. So overlay is good for, I think overlay is good for almost any type of color, whether it's the dark or the light color. So let's see if I turn off this one here. My overlay does well, especially for the lighter colors, and it does okay for the darker colors, but sometimes I have to let up on the opacity in order to see the stones a little more clearly. But then I lost my white. So what would I have to do? Take that same layer, duplicate it, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete this layer mask. And of course, now we need a new layer mask. So everywhere that's white, I'm going to use my magic wand. I'm going to choose that white. I made sure that contiguous was disconnected so that I'm getting everything that's white. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create that layer mask. And then I'm going to go to my effects just for the white, because every color is not the same. And that's the beautiful thing about Photoshop. When you learn how to use these blend modes, when you learn how to use these advanced techniques, you start to realize that, hey, I can change the color of this whole chain. I can change the color of somebody's shirt. It depends on how I'm blending these colors and using these different techniques. So for this one, let's go ahead. Let's go back to the linear burn. I really like the linear burn. Linear burn does well like overall to really make it pop, but these blend modes will differ based on the colors that you choose. So I have 3 different blend modes on right now. I have linear burn for my white, and for the lighter blue color, I think we decided on multiply for that one. And then for the darker blue color, I believe, let's see what I have for the darker blue color. I'm just going to go to the pattern overlay. We have soft light selected for that one. So it's the same idea, but 3 different blend modes applied. Okay. And then if I wanted to, we could, add some strokes inside of there and make it look like it had multi layers to the gold. But in all honesty, I don't think we're going to need that for this one. But I'll go ahead and turn it on just so you see what it looks like. I personally like when the gold is just on the outside, but if we were going to do this, then we would go in and modify these strokes. And all I'm doing is making them smaller. So we'll do that. Some of you will want to do this for yours, and we'll do it just for the sake of showing you how. And then you can always take it off if you don't want to see that. So see how now I just added a little bit of gold trim to the inside, and it just sets it apart a little bit. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to go ahead and turn the strokes off for it and keep it simple. And then I'm going to show you a little thing that I added to it, because I know that the colors are a big deal when it comes to the metals now. So we have a rose gold. We can turn it into silver, or we can leave it our standard yellow gold. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it rose gold, and then show you that we have a little layer here, and I'll let you make in class. We're going to make our own colors. So I'm going to show you how, if you were trying to match something and make it metallic, what you'll do here. And all this is a color that is applied in the blend mode. Again, the theme is blend modes here. The blend mode here is color. So it's recoloring whatever's underneath using that kind of grayscale, and then it's recoloring it whatever color we place on top. So that's going to be something major, not just to learn for this template, but this is going to build to what you're learning about Photoshop and the capabilities of Photoshop going forward. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take off the rose gold for now. Then in order to take it off the logo, I'm going to go to the effects of the logo and just take off that stroke color. All right, so that was one thing. Then I wanted to show you, you can bring in things that aren't very simple. For instance, I'm going to bring in a cartoon right now. Or let's do the simplest right now. So the simplest thing you can do is just text. So let me turn on this text layer here. All right, and with this download, you'll also get the flame font. So if you don't have the flame font from innatelab.com, you're going to get that font for free with this class, just so we can go ahead and play with it. This is a very popular font, very trendy font. Okay, so with this in particular, this is just a text typed here. There's no special smart object or anything to it. As a matter of fact, if I type on it right now and type Innate Lab, it immediately changes the text there. And you may also change this color overlay if you want to color in those stones. And again, the blend mode here may change depending on which color you use. So we'll be figuring out based on what color we choose, which blend mode we want to use for this application. And really, I think overlay does a nice job here of keeping that hot pink color, but still allowing the stones to show through. But I just like for you all to see, color does a great job with that too. I think what I liked overlay best, I'm gonna leave overlay there. So this will be available for you all to just simply add a single color, and whatever color's in here will change accordingly. And sometimes you'll see, if I get into really dark color sometimes, I may not like that I don't see the contrast in the stones right in the center. So I may change either my blend mode, or I may change my opacity, that sort of thing. You see how when I take the opacity down, I get a little less intense color, but I see those stones a little better. And sometimes that's what you have to do when you want to see a very dark color have effects. So you don't see a gradient when you put black over something, or you don't see a gradient when you put white over something. So what you have to do is play with the blend modes in order to really get that effect, or maybe even the opacity. So definitely we'll be playing with this. And this is just a simple text here. Okay, so what I also want to show you is you may want to use this a little more unconventional. I'm just going to bring in a character here. Drag and drop it there. And this is just a PNG. Now keep in mind, what I want to show you, and this is what we're going to work on in class, is that it's not always just as simple as copying and pasting a layer style. So I'm going to copy this layer style, and I'm going to paste it here. And we're ending up with some of the image is just not coming through the way we want it. And it's just because of the colors that are underneath there. So we can definitely play with the different areas where that color is supposed to come through there. And we can even change the stone size, so we can make it larger, smaller. I'm going to stick with maybe 100 there. And then let's go to I'm going to figure out if I want to keep my gradient overlay. Oh, I forgot I had the color overlay. I was like, why is it darkening myself? So I'm taking off that color overlay there. And this one actually looks pretty good. It didn't muddy any colors up too bad there. I have a little bit of a problem not seeing stones in the dark area. So that's the only thing I really see a problem with. Everything else looks great. So let's see what we would do to fix that. This has to be a nice resolution image, even though it's a cartoon. Sometimes we have these little fuzzy images and it may not come out right. So if I want to see the stones more in her hair, which is obviously black, I'm going to duplicate this layer. We're going to grab our magic wand tool. I have contiguous selection off, and I'm just going to select somewhere in her hair. And mind you, see how it selects everything black? And this is going to be fine for me right now, because if there's anything that I don't want selected, I can always take it off of the selection, because all I'm doing is adding a layer mask. I'm not deleting anything. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to add a layer mask. And of course, it adds the gold strokes everywhere. I'm going to take those off. All right, and what I want to do again is play with this pattern overlay. We have blend modes to function with right now. So we did linear burn. Now when it was a lighter color, I believe we can do overlay. We can do soft light. See, soft light kind of brings the hair through a little bit. And we can see that it's actually not even black. It's really that dark brown color. And that all changed from simply updating the blend mode there. There's that before and after for the blend mode. And it should only be affecting the dark areas that we had selected before. Now, let's say you want to change the thickness of the outline. We'll be doing that in class as well, it is all depending on what's the size of your pendant and how you want that to affect. Okay, so that's the main idea for what we're doing today. And everyone that brings an image in, we're going to make sure that you understand exactly how to manipulate the blend modes, what colors work best for certain blend modes. That's going to be really presidential in going forward into the 200 level courses, where we're going to be doing a lot of advanced techniques such as changing blend modes, multiplying those blend modes throughout different layers, and all of that good stuff. And this is how we get those effects that look like it's really really advanced, really extreme. And once you understand the core of it, it doesn't seem that scary at all. And let's say for this one, I want to change it to rose gold. It's really easy. I'm going to go to my image here, and just that outline, I'm going to turn on my rose gold stroke. And now I have a rose gold color. Yes, Ken, this one is updated. I told the folks in the academy not to purchase the one on the Innate Lab website because I wanted a chance to update it and change some things about it. So this is not exactly the same as the one that was on the Innate Lab website. But if you're in the academy, you'll get this updated one anyhow. And this one, I will tell you, this one does a little bit more, it's a little less complicated, but does more functions than the previous one, if that makes sense. So while I have y'all here, let's see, I can take a couple of suggestions for what you all might want to see. See me demo real quick, maybe tell me an idea that you want to see blinged out, and I can show you real time kind of how I would problem solve that. If it's something you in particular want to see, or something that you would do for your own personal project, just throw an idea out there and I'll take it and show it to you real time real quick. Oh, I'll also show you that we have some different type of chains and also the chain length. So I have this short one. This is the same one, but it's longer. And just depending on what you're pressing this on and what size shirt you're doing, you'll end up changing the size of this. And this is just something to have fun with, practice on your blend modes. You also get some metallic gradients and things in this one. So I know that that's extremely popular theme that I work with, that people really enjoy are those metallics. So I'm basically showing you how to take that one metallic gradient and modify it to be whatever color you want. And right now I'm just going to change this to an alternate color here. Let's use one of these blues here. You can make this whatever metallic color that you like. The same thing with the outline there. It just really depends on the initial color that you choose and how it applies towards the gradient colors underneath. So I've done my best to make this a lot more simplified, focus on how you would manipulate the blend modes, keep it really focused but really fun. Awesome, awesome. So vegan life, give me an idea of a sneaker. Um, I'll look it up and then I'll show you how we'll bring it in. And I would like to do something a little more photographic too, so that'll be interesting. Let's see, I'm going to turn off rose gold there. Oh, there's something else I need to show y'all too. Let's go ahead and turn on this logo. And I like to keep on that bevel and emboss. I'm just going to name that one team logo because you can change it out and make it whatever you want. And I'll leave that in there for y'all because what you'll be able to do if you really have trouble, you'll be able to copy and paste these layer effects. But what I really want you to do is focus on manipulating just one for yourself. So I'm going to leave it there for you as kind of like a not a cheat, but give you a little bit of an idea of what your blend modes could possibly be. And that'll be for class and for the future. And I want to show you, you got to turn these bling flares on to see what they do. But this right here, all we have to do is create a layer mask for the image. So I'm going to go to my main image here, hold down Control, get that little selection of the image, and then I'm going to create a layer mask for that little bling, and you get a nice little, little flare off of your image, no matter where your image is or how big it is. So I'm going to do the same thing for the Cardi Rugrats cartoon. Okay, I'm going to delete the layer mask there. And then I see that there are blings everywhere, and I just want them on her. So I'm going to Control click and add a layer mask. So we're going to do that in class too. And that's the second thing that I see people have the hardest time with this type of template design is that they don't know how to clip the flares to just the image, and then when they go to print it, they'll have these little flares going all over the place on the outside. And really those flares should be trapped inside the clipping mask or path of the image and the image only. All right, so let me see. There is a YouTuber that I follow that talks about the latest sneakers and stuff. Let me see. If I go to Sneaker Match Tees, they usually have the latest designs that everybody's trying to match with the latest sneaker, and I want something with some color to it. Oh, this one looks pretty. Jordan 1. Oh, I'm thinking I'm showing y'all what I'm working on. Let me pull it over here so y'all can see. So that one, let me see if I can find a good image of that. Just to show you that it can do photographic images, and then you may still have to play with it just a little bit. I don't know if this is a popular shoe, so y'all have to tell me sometimes. Well, apparently it is popular if I see it going for 1,000. Let me go ahead and make that large size so I can get a good image. StockX. Oh, these are pretty. And it looks like they're canvas. Probably have to be a certain type of collector to really go for these, but I like them. So let's right click, let's open the image in a new tab, make sure it's good and clean. There we go. So this is a good one because now I have to show you how to clean up your images if you're going to use it for class. So I'm going to go ahead and download the image. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it into, let's not do remove, well, let's do remove BG, and I'll show you the difference between pulling something into remove BG and then if we do it in Photoshop. Because this is what I'm going to require before class, is that you just have a clean image ready to go. So I'm just going to drag and drop this image into remove BG. It got rid of that background perfect. Now let's download it. And I'm going to drag it right into our template. And so I'll leave these images in the template so you get an idea. So let's say we're going to do this as, this is a cool idea. Okay, so let's turn off. Oh, and I forgot to link these two as well. I'm going to go ahead and link the two Cardi images, the hair with the main image. That way they move together. So Control T, I could transform those all together. All right, so I'm going to turn that one off and I'm going to focus on, I'm going to focus just on the shoe right now. And all I'm going to do is copy the layer style from the text and paste it. That color overlay, I'm going to turn to something else weird so you'll know when it's on. Okay, so let's copy that layer style and let's paste it right onto this shoe. I'm just going to call this sneaker, or I can name it. Let's go ahead and paste the layer style and see how it takes. We definitely have to turn off the color overlay. And I may turn off this gradient overlay because what it does is it adds a little bit of like light bright up here and then it gives you a really stark contrast, but sometimes that muddies up our color, so I'm going to turn that off. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. And what I would do to maybe make this pop a little bit more is either, let's see, let's change. We can change the scale of our stones, either to make them bigger or smaller. And ideally, I would probably make them smaller to make it more realistic. But sometimes if you want to make an impact, you may make them a bit larger. So that's at 180. So before I think we had it either 100 or 120. We can also choose to turn on or off the satin. I'm going to turn it off for this one. And that's really it. If I want my stones to show through or more in the black area, what I'll do is grab my magic wand. Now, this is not a cartoon image. So when I select this black, it's going to select the closest colors to that. It's not exactly all the same color, but I think this works out for what I need. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. Then I'm going to layer mask just that black. And of course, turn off. And you can see how jagged, because this is a bitmap image. This is not a vector. This is not a clean cut cartoon. This is a photographic image that's going to have some fuzziness to it. So I'm going to make sure I turn off everything except for this little pattern overlay here. And then we'll play with either the blend mode, the opacity, something that kind of lets those stones pop through so we know that we have little black stones there. Let's do multiply. And I'm seeing them a little bit more here. I don't know if y'all can see them on the screen, but I see them a little bit more here. Overlay, I think overlay is giving me a little more of the stones in the black. But in order to see more of the stones, it looks less intense of a black, but I think I like to see the stones more than see the pure black there. But that's it. That is absolutely it. Now, of course, if I wanted the little blings now to be on the shoe, I'll take that, name that my little retro shoe. And now I will delete the layer mask for the flares. Make sure I choose my shoe. And create a layer mask just for those blings. And now those blings are trapped inside of the shoe. Okay, that's it. You can make the blings higher opacity or lower, so we'll play with that a little bit depending on what your graphic looks like. And this doesn't have to be a chain shirt at all. As a matter of fact, you can turn off the chains. I'm going to label this chains. You can turn that off completely and just have the image. So depending on what you want to do, let's say you're doing like a birthday shirt for your little one and you want to do a character or something, you can just do the character. You don't have to put the chain in at all. It's just an idea. Okay, and how you can make it for 4x, 5x, etc. We'll talk about that in class as well, but basically what you're going to end up doing is measuring from the edge of the collar to the edge of the collar on whatever shirt you're using. And I'll give you an example here. Let's turn the chains back on. So right now this is on a 13 by 19. And I wouldn't even suggest that that you change the image as much as just save it as a JPEG, and then you can scale the image to the neck length size. Excuse me. Carol, Carol, I haven't seen you in class in a while. I'd love to have you. Class tonight is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this one should not be a long class. Last time we did a lot from scratch, so it was a really long class and we toughed it out. This one should not be more than 3 hours. So we should go from probably 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. But yes, we will talk about that as well as far as printing, because that is a big deal, and and I'm glad you brought that up. That's the third issue that people usually ask about this particular type of design is how do I know what size to print it? A lot of times you're doing youth shirts all the way up to adult shirts for this type of style of design. So I definitely want you to understand how to resize this image. Let's say, so this is 13 inches. I don't have anything measured right in front of me, but let's say for instance that your collar to collar was 8 inches. And I can go ahead and just put something here just to show you. When I click down here, I'm going to tell it that 8 inches, and I have to type in IN to let it know that I'm typing inches and not pixels. And it really doesn't matter the height, but I'm just going to let it be 2 inches in height. Okay, and it's going to create a little square here. And I'm going to make sure that this, or not a square, I'm sorry, a rectangle. I'm going to pull it all the way to the top so I don't mistakenly print this. So if this is where my collar ends, and I might want for my image to kind of squish into that a little bit, because you don't want it to look like there's suspenders going from someone's shoulders. You want it to look like it's coming from the collar. So in that regard, I would definitely take everything you see here, shadow and on. I would duplicate the group, merge it, because now it's its own image. And then you can do Control T and just transform that to whatever size will best fit that collar. Now, some of you probably want to press on the collar. Many of you may not, because pressing on that collar does give you unevenness and unpredictability, but it does make it look more realistic when it kind of covers over the collar. So if this is the outside of your collar and you want it to go inside the collar, then by all means you can go inside the collar, but just understand there's some risk whenever you go over that thickness of the collar. Okay, and look how big of a difference that is. If I printed this big old image, it would look like it's kind of coming from the shoulders a little bit, versus when I printed the appropriate size for that collar, for that size shirt, makes a huge difference. So this, the largest actually does usually fit what, a 3X, 4X, so you may have to reduce it down for other size shirts. I like to print things one size and fits most, so I can go all the way from adult small all the way up to a 2X, and then maybe for the 3X, 4X to 5X, I'll have one size for that. So I try to not overcomplicate it by having a different size print for each size shirt. That way I'm not mistakenly pressing the wrong print on the wrong size shirt. Mr. GitHook, email us on the contact page for the website. My personal inbox is like super full and super intimidating. I don't even get on my Facebook Messenger anymore. It's just too much. So if you can, please message the business page, and then also I get some help with answering those questions as well. So if you message the you go to the website and go to the contact us, that'll email us, or you can go to the Innate Lab Facebook page and message us there, because that's the way that we're able to correspond a lot better. All right, so I'm glad that answered the question about resizing. And I will keep that in here too. And we'll call this one the collar width. All right. Yes, Erica, thank you. You can also message Erica as well if you need help. She is the lifeblood of the community, keeps things going, keeps questions answered. I promise you I can't do it without her. So for a lot of things, she is definitely the primary person to go to get help and answers. As some of you might know, I'm doing some training right now. It's really intense, and I haven't been, I've been a little MIA lately because I'm training on stock trading and that sort of thing right now. So it's really intense. It's really taking up my energy. So I appreciate you all working with me, and I've been trying to still put out this content for classes and make sure that we don't fall behind on that. All right, so do you all have any other questions, or we can do general questions right now? You have me for about 10 more minutes before I have to log off and get things settled here so I can be ready for class tonight. So class tonight is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll find it on academy.innatelab.com, and it'll be right here for the live interactive courses. And for those of you, excuse me, who are members, or those of you who aren't members, the $60 a month membership allows you access to the live classes that we do. We typically do them Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then everyone, whether you're a $30 a month member or a $60 a month member, will have access to 4 courses immediately. And then every week a new course unlocks based on when you enrolled in the program. So for instance, I'll show you the first 4 courses, 101, 102, 103, and 104. You get those immediately when you join, whether it's the $30 membership or the $60 membership. And then every single week, so 105 unlocks 7 days after you enroll, 106 unlocks 14 days after you enroll, 21 days, etc. So whether you're the $30 member or $60 member, you still get the classes to unlock for you. The benefit of the $60 a month VIP membership is that you're able to join the live classes as long as you're available and as long as it's something that you're interested in joining. So there are usually 4 classes per month, and they'll be here in the live interactive courses. And it's pretty much a hands-on learning. I know a lot of you have been wanting to do one-on-ones with me, and I just haven't had the capability to do that. This is as close to a one-on-one as you can possibly get. And it's not just you watching me do it. I am literally helping you through it. So very rarely am I the one doing it on my screen. What I'm telling you to do are the steps, and then we watch each other's screens. We pull each other out of the mud if we get stuck somewhere, and it's a very hands-on live approach. Okay. And for those of you who have the $60 a month membership, I will place the coupon code. As soon as I create the class, I'll place the coupon code in your master codes list, and you'll be able to use that for up to the time that class starts. So after class starts, the coupon code expires, and it'll unlock when it unlocks with the normal sequence of the classes. So right now, I think we're up to 118. This is class number 119. So far that's the content that we've worked up to as far as weekly content. And if you have any ideas of things that you want to learn, a lot of things that you are telling me are templates that are just so hard that you either didn't purchase them or didn't know what to do with them. So we'll do those as class projects as well, because it's really teaching you hands-on how to use your tools. And you do not have to purchase templates. When I give a class, I give you everything that you need. The only thing that I can't give you are like fonts that aren't my fonts. So I'll tell you to download these specific free fonts. If they are my fonts, then I give you the font for free as well. Okay, so I definitely want you all to succeed. I want to see what it is that you need to succeed. And we are all pushing ourselves further, improving our skills, and improving our design sets and what we can show our customers. All right, let me close down some of these windows. So let me know if there's anything else that y'all have questions about. I know this is one of the few times that we do get to spend together to do live, so I don't mind y'all even asking me questions that you have on your mind before we close out this this YouTube session. All right, and I know we're coming up on a new year, so If there's content that you all want to see that you know your clients are going to be interested in, and either I don't have anything for it to fit your needs, or I need to redevelop something in order to fit your needs, y'all let me know, because really and truly the input that you all have been giving me is helping to drive improving not just the templates but also the content of what we put out, and making sure that it's something you can immediately use and immediately see a return on your investment. Oh, Carol, no, I'm not teaching a class on stock. I'm actually taking classes on that. So it's been a really intense process for me. But I did have a Webull link that I shared, and I guess I'll share my Robinhood link too. And those are resources that I'm using to learn to trade. So let me see. I'll share that. I'll share my Robinhood one too. So, for that, Webull is more or less if you are trading and you're buying stocks that aren't, where you can't buy the fractional shares with Webull, but you can find a lot more variety in stock with the Robinhood, and some people use Square to do the trades. I don't use Square just because it's very limited in the stocks that you can do. But Robinhood definitely allows you to do fractional shares. Webull allows you to do stocks that may not be listed on the Robinhood. So I have been learning a lot with that, learning not only day trading but also portfolio building and that sort of thing. So I will not be teaching that until I really feel confident as as a trainee for that one, and or as a professional for that one, because right now I'm just learning. I'm just a trainee myself. But I do want you all to get into that sort of stuff because I haven't for a very long time. And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're not setting ourselves up for, retirement and growth after we're done crafting. We just think we're going to craft to the day we die, and we're going to make money doing it to the day we die, which is probably true because I don't think we'll ever stop learning and stop doing. But there are strategies that we need to have in place. And that's what I'm learning about. Strategies for stock trading, as well as setting up Roth IRAs and all of that fun stuff. So when I learn something, I'll definitely be sharing it with you all. Right now, I'm still in my learning process myself. All right. Any other questions, love? I know there's a little bit of delay here, so I want to make sure that I'm covering what y'all need to see covered. Awesome, Corey. Corey's working on her mask. It says stops her from having to sew. I feel you on that one. I feel you. And there's some other things that I have in the works. I can't share it with you right now because I'm still in this prototyping and working phase. But there are definitely some cool things that I really can't wait to get out to you all. But unfortunately, I have to divide my time amongst so many things, so I do have to kind of shut down in order to get those things out. And then probably towards the end of January, we'll be doing a lot more YouTube sessions, live sessions, not just only the academy. So be looking forward to that. Right now, I'm kind of having to structure myself and get things done behind the scenes. And we have a lot more in store for you. But I do want to hear what y'all want to learn. Awesome, kid. So maybe we can give some suggestions for resources of learning and that sort of thing. If a lot of people are interested in that, which I think a lot of people are interested in stock trading now, especially being that the high volatility of the market this year has really done great things for some people. And even just alone, just bringing out the idea of the common person stock trading, it's amazing. I have to say I was intimidated by it for a long time. Didn't want to look into it because I'm one of those people where I will research the mess out of something before I do it. So I try not to get, involved in too much at a time. But this is definitely the time for me to bite down on that. So Ken, let me know when you get your club set up. Yes, Corey. As a matter of fact, if you want to do a custom cartoon image like the one of Cardi, um, for those of you who may not have seen it, where is it? There she is. So that's a custom drawn image there. And as a matter of fact, I'll whoever is participating in the class, you'll get this one, this image for free because it'll be in the template just so you can have it. But definitely, if you want to do a custom cartoon, message us on the contact us of the website of innatelab.com, and then I can go ahead and set up a custom invoice for you. The blanket squares blanket, you know what? I probably won't do the squares blanket just because the square blanket, well, I can't say I probably won't. I'll have to create like a theme for that. And yeah, and I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the blanket that has like random, not random, but a certain number of white rectangles that you can sublimate. So I'll think about that because that seems like one of those ones where I have to do like a theme and do smart objects and build that one out. Yeah. Oh, I understand, Corey, and that's why I don't let other people do it for me. That's why I said I would have to learn for myself because I cannot just hand someone my money and say, "Hey, manage my portfolio, do this for me." Especially with times being hard, you don't know who's gonna do what with your stuff, and you don't know what the market's gonna do either. So that's why I felt like the best way for me to get involved is to learn. Um, I do learn from others. I do take this very, very serious, and I do foresee that there are some risk in the near future that we don't know about yet. But this is if any time to learn is now. To do a 50 by 60 blanket with one image, LaQuisha, that would be basically breaking it down into tiles. So I probably could do a Insta-tile, the automatic tile slicer for that. But yet, and still, it's a single image usually that you're breaking down to those tiles. So I might just do something like that and add it on to the existing Insta slice. But that is absolutely a great product to do the blankets. Not everybody's doing blankets. Okay, cool. All right, loves. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, sign out, try to get a few errands that I need to get done for today before class tonight. So I will leave this video up, and Then that way you'll have it access during the day if you want to attend this class, or you might want to share it with your friends that may be attending class tonight. That way they have an idea of what we're working on. Wall decals. Absolutely. Those are things that it's hard to teach a class on how to do them, but there are some things that I can teach you, which is, you have an image, how to create the cut lines for it. But it's really based on which hardware you use, whether you're using the Silhouette, Cameo. I have a Roland myself, so doing those things that have the cutouts, that's definitely something worth learning as well. So I'm taking and putting all these ideas on my list. Floating ornaments. Yeah, and I said I wasn't going to do any more holiday themed things just because by the time we do the class, you may not be able to use it for this particular holiday season. So we're going to just hold out on those things until we get to our next season, which of course we have. What else is coming up? Valentine's, Mother's Day, Father's Day, etc. So we need to kind of do some projects that will give you an idea of what to offer for those seasons so that you turn up your sales based on what you can offer your clients. All right, loves. So let's see, 108 right now. We're making good time. I can go ahead and wrap up some other projects I'm working on. If you need anything for this class, make sure that you contact Erica. Make sure that you're able to download everything. I say a couple hours before class so you don't have any issues, because Erica usually is very responsive and making sure that you don't have any problems prior to class. Make sure your Zoom link works. Make sure you're able to download and open your Photoshop files and you don't have any issues with your Photoshop. And all else we'll take care of in class tonight. All right, loves. Well, I will see you all soon. I love y'all dearly, for real, for real. I appreciate all your support. And just for now, not forever. Love y'all and bye.